transported by 3 women, one who was over 60 years old. So he had that instinct. The life of any law enforcement officer can be very difficult, as I'm sure you're realizing now and finding out through your training. It's not much different than serving as a soldier in the Army. And after many years of service, the challenges in maintaining your original passion that caused you to take an oath to protect the citizens of your community, or in my case, our nation, you might find yourself wondering over time what the hell you were thinking. Trust me, I do the same thing. Observing Grant over many years after he married my sister Annette, I learned a few attributes that I invite you to consider. Immersion, respect, humor, and family. Grant loved his work. It wasn't just a job to him. He loved interacting with people, anyone really. He truly enjoyed the daily contact with all walks of life on his beat. Grant demonstrated a personality that made it easy for him to influence just about any situation. He was a leader, and his personality exuded personal courage, duty, and most importantly, honor. Shortly after Grant's death, those he cited for speeding and even arrested commented on how much they respected him and how his careful and professional attitude impacted their individual lives. Grant could win over just about anyone with respect. To Grant, you were never a bad person, just maybe severely misguided. And if you let him, he'd help you find the right direction. Whether a soldier or a law enforcement officer, our jobs are tough. The stress of battling people who don't always want to be helped and the daily struggle to balance your safety with the courage to be fully effective is enough at times to question your chosen profession. Grant could diffuse any stressful situation with humor and laughter. He found humor in just about everything, and frankly, just about everyone. Grant's fellow officers gravitated toward him as he offered the necessary break from the stress of their work. And he was even known for diffusing rough subjects on the street with a laughable demeanor. As his brother-in-law, I admired Grant for what he was most well known for, the love of his family. And in the Army, we have officers, and I'm sure as in law enforcement, and senior non-commissioned officers who devote an entire life to the art of war and leadership. So much so that they are rarely home, either because they're deployed, or when they are home, they prioritize their work above their family. And when we do go home, our families, the struggles of stress, wreak havoc on our personal relationships. And I would tell you that putting family first is the most critical ingredient to our lives. It's not as easy as it sounds, and the two demographics in our nation that have the highest divorce rates are yours and mine. A testament to the stress of the work that we all do. Grant saw his family as the single most important part of his life. He first defined himself as a husband, a father, a brother, and an uncle. Then, as a police officer. There was no doubt where his loyalties lied. He was quite a man and quite a police officer. So while reviewing the applications for this scholarship today, the board set out to distinguish Grant's service in his life. It's never a simple task to select one recruit over others, and I'll tell you that it was quite a battle to make this decision. Every class shows promise in the strength and caliber of all who stand and seek to be in law enforcement, and that includes all of you. So you should all be very proud of your continued accomplishments. After thoroughly evaluating each application and personally meeting with and interviewing applicants, the board is pleased to announce recruit Brock Gale as your class's recipient for the Officer Grant Anthony Jansen Memorial Scholarship. Recruit Gale epitomizes the essence of the Foundation's purpose in Officer Ganson's life. Brock highlighted his family as his main contributing factor for his interest in serving. With a strong history of serving the community, Recruit Gale demonstrates the tenacity and determination for future service. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to hand it over to Annette real quick.
I know it's exciting to start your new career as a police officer, but I would like to share with you 2 pieces of advice. I not only lived with a police officer for 10 years, but I worked in law enforcement as a dispatcher for 14. I know that the excitement begins to fade, and at many points in your career, you may become jaded, stagnant, and burned out. I suggest that you keep a copy of what you wrote and why you wanted to become a police officer in the first place. Then 10, 15, 20 years down the road, pull it out and reread it, and reignite that desire, that dream, so it will stay with you until the end of your career. The other piece of advice I would like to give you is to recognize that being a police officer is not who you are, but what you do. Grant loved his family first, and everything else thereafter had its place. Don't get me wrong, Grant loved his job and couldn't wait to get out there every morning to see what he could find. But he also couldn't wait to come home to see what our children were up to. He knew he couldn't do his job without the support of his family, so he made sure to take care of us first, which just made doing his job that much easier. So yes, he was a police officer and a very good one, but he was also a husband, a father, son, brother, uncle, and friend. The loss of Grant goes so much deeper than anyone can possibly imagine. The layers of this man ran very deep and very wide. Think to yourself, who would miss you if your life was tragically taken? How deep and wide are your layers, and what can you do to broaden that depth even more and make a true impact on your family and this community? With that being said, I would like to congratulate Recruit Gale on behalf of the board members of this foundation on successfully earning the Grant Anthony Jansen Memorial Scholarship. I also wanted to give you 2 pictures as a reminder that Grant was respected as a police officer, but he treasured his roles in our family as well. Give him a check.
You're going to do it now, or are you going to do it?
No, we do it now.